Your mind is the foundation of your reality. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, and every word you whisper to yourself shapes the world you live in. Yet, most people do not realize the power they possess. They drift through life unaware that the true battle is not fought outside of them, it is fought within. The greatest obstacles they face are not the circumstances of their lives, but the limitations they have placed upon themselves. There was once a man who traveled far and wide in search of wisdom. He climbed mountains, crossed deserts, and endured hardships, believing that the answers he sought lay somewhere outside of himself. When he finally arrived at the feet of a wise master, he asked, "How do I change my life?" The master poured tea into a cup, filling it to the brim and continuing to pour. The tea spilled over, drenching the table. The man gasped, "It is full. No more can fit." The master smiled, "And so is your mind. If you wish to change your life, you must first empty your cup." This is where transformation begins, not with struggle, not with force, but with unlearning, with questioning the thoughts that have governed your life, with breaking free from the beliefs that have kept you small, because your mind is either your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy, and the difference between the two is not in your circumstances, but in your discipline. Most people allow their minds to run unchecked, like an untamed beast, dragging them in every direction. One moment they are confident, the next they are drowning in doubt. One moment they are focused, the next they are lost in distractions. They wonder why they never reach their goals, why they feel powerless, why they remain stuck in the same cycles year after year. But a trained mind, a disciplined mind, it is sharp, unshakable, and entirely under control. Discipline is not given. It is not inherited. It is built, moment by moment, choice by choice. It is the ability to do what must be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. It is waking up early when your body wants to rest. It is focusing when distractions call your name. It is pushing forward when the weight of doubt tries to pull you down. A warrior does not wait for battle to begin training. He sharpens his sword long before he steps onto the battlefield. He prepares his mind long before the challenge arises. And you must do the same. You must condition yourself to think clearly under pressure, to move with purpose, to act with certainty, because life will test you. There will be chaos, failures, and moments when everything feels like it is falling apart. But if you have trained your mind, nothing will break you. A student once asked his master, "How do I become fearless?" The master handed him a cup of water and said, "Throw it into the ocean." The student did as he was told. The master then said, "Now bring that exact water back." The student hesitated. "That's impossible." The master smiled. "So it is with time. Once it is spent, it cannot be reclaimed. Fear steals your time. Do not waste another moment waiting." This is the truth most people never understand. Every second spent hesitating, doubting, delaying is a second lost forever. And when time is gone, it does not return. Life does not pause for you to make up your mind. It keeps moving. And if you are not careful, if you do not take control now, you will wake up one day and realize you never truly lived. You only waited. So what are you waiting for? What excuse are you allowing to keep you from taking action? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the belief that you are not ready, that you are not capable, that the timing is not right? Burn those excuses. Remove them from your mind completely, because every moment you delay, someone else is moving forward. Every time you hesitate, someone else is out there sharpening their skills, pushing through their struggles, getting closer to success. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not talent, it is not luck, it is not intelligence, it is action. A sculptor does not create a masterpiece in a single strike. He chips away, piece by piece, removing what does not belong, refining his work until perfection emerges. And your mind, your discipline, your strength, it is shaped in the same way. Every decision you make, every habit you reinforce, every moment you stay focused instead of giving in to weakness, that is another strike of the chisel, another step toward mastery. But make no mistake, this is not an easy path. This is not for those who seek comfort, who wish for quick fixes, who want results without sacrifice. This is the path of warriors, the path of those willing to endure, to push beyond their limits, to stand firm even when the world tries to pull them down. So ask yourself, or are you sharpening your focus? Are you waiting for change, or are you creating it? Because in the end, your mind will either be your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. And the difference between the two is not in your circumstances, not in your background, not in your luck. It is in your discipline, it is in your choices, and it starts now. Your mind is your greatest tool, but only if you know how to use it. Left undisciplined, it will work against you, trapping you in a cycle of hesitation, fear, and doubt. But when trained, when sharpened, it becomes a force capable of cutting through any obstacle, any setback, any limitation. Most people live their lives unaware that they are being ruled by their own thoughts. They wake up every day carrying the weight of past mistakes, lost opportunities, and self-imposed limitations. They listen to the voices in their heads telling them they are not enough, that they will fail, that they are destined to remain where they are. And because they believe these thoughts, they become their reality. A wise master once said, "Your mind is like a garden. If you do not tend to it, weeds will grow. If you do not plant the seeds of discipline, of focus, of clarity, your mind will become overrun with doubt, with fear, with distraction." You must ask yourself, what have you allowed to take root in your mind? Are your thoughts empowering you or holding you back? Are you strengthening yourself with discipline, or are you weakening yourself with excuses? A warrior does not leave his sword to rust. A monk does not allow his mind to wander uncontrolled. And you cannot afford to let your thoughts run unchecked, pulling you away from your purpose, from your growth, from your potential. The difference between those who achieve and those who do not is not in their talents or their resources. It is in their minds. The strongest minds do not waste energy on fear, on distractions, on what-ifs. They focus on what must be done. They train themselves to act, to move forward, to take control. A man once came to a great teacher saying, "I feel lost. My mind is filled with doubt. I do not know which path to take." The teacher handed him a cup of water and said, "Look at the surface. What do you see?" The man replied, "I see my reflection, but the water is disturbed." The teacher nodded. "That is your mind, unclear, restless, filled with uncertainty. But be still." The man waited. The water settled. His reflection became clear. When your mind is calm, your path will reveal itself. This is why those who master their minds move through life with unshakable confidence. They do not need to know every step ahead. They only need to trust in their ability to handle whatever comes. But trust is not built in a single moment. It is forged through discipline, through repetition, through training the mind daily, just as the body must be strengthened through consistent effort. Most people wait for motivation before they take action. They tell themselves they will start when they feel ready, when they have more confidence, when the conditions are perfect. But motivation is unreliable, feelings are unpredictable, and perfection does not exist. The strongest minds do not wait. They move forward despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, despite the resistance. They understand that action creates confidence, not the other way around. They do not ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" They ask, "What must be done?" and then they do it. A monk was once asked, "How do you find peace?" He replied, "I wake up and I sit in silence. I train my mind to be still, and then I carry that stillness into everything I do." You do not need to climb mountains to sharpen your mind. You do not need to retreat from the world to find clarity. You only need to commit to strengthening your focus every day. Start with small acts of discipline. Wake up without hitting snooze. Train yourself to work without distraction. Commit to finishing what you start. Because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you allow weakness in the small things, you will allow it in the big things. If you let yourself be ruled by emotions, by excuses, by distractions in the little moments, you will find yourself losing control when it matters most. Discipline is not about restriction. It is about freedom. Freedom from hesitation. Freedom from fear. Freedom from the limits of an untrained mind. You must decide now. Will you take control of your thoughts, your actions, your life? Or will you remain trapped, waiting for change instead of creating it? Because the mind, left untrained, is a prison. But the mind, sharpened and disciplined, is the key to everything you seek. And the choice is yours. Your mind is like a blade. If you neglect it, it dulls. Most people walk through life unaware that they are carrying a dull blade. They wonder why they feel lost, why they lack confidence, why they struggle to stay focused. They believe they are victims of circumstance, but in reality, they are victims of an undisciplined mind. A man once approached a wise teacher and said, "I want to be strong, but my mind is filled with weakness. I hesitate. I doubt myself. I cannot seem to focus." The teacher handed him an axe and pointed to a massive tree. "Chop it down," he said. The man swung the axe, but the blade was dull. He tried again and again, but it barely made a dent. "The problem is not your effort," the teacher said. "The problem is your tool. Sharpen the blade, and you will succeed with half the effort." This is how the mind works. If it is weak, no amount of effort will bring results. You will push, you will struggle, but you will never break through. But if the mind is sharp, you will move with ease. You will see solutions where others see obstacles. You will remain calm under pressure while others panic. You will act with certainty while others hesitate. But sharpening the mind is not something that happens in a single moment. It is a discipline. It is a practice. It is something you must commit to every day. Most people wait for clarity before they take action. But clarity does not come from waiting. It comes from movement. A river does not know every turn in its path before it begins to flow. It moves forward, and the path reveals itself. You do not need to know every step ahead. You only need to take the first. There was once a student who feared making the wrong decision. He asked his teacher, "What if I take the wrong path?" The teacher smiled and said, "Then you will learn. But if you take no path, you will learn nothing." The strongest minds do not wait for certainty. They create it through action. They trust that even if they do not have all the answers, they will find them along the way. This is where most people fail. They allow hesitation to stop them. They let doubt creep in. They listen to the voice in their head that says, "What if you fail? What if you are not ready? What if this is the wrong time?" But here is the truth. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a moment where fear does not exist. The only way to move past it is to act despite it. A warrior does not wait for fear to disappear before stepping onto the battlefield. He moves forward anyway. He understands that fear is nothing more than a test to see if he will break, if he will hesitate, if he will retreat. And those who train their minds, those who sharpen their focus, those who commit to discipline, they do not break. They do not retreat. They do not hesitate. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They seek the easy path, the familiar path, the one that requires no struggle. But growth does not happen in comfort, it happens in resistance. A sword is not forged in calm waters, it is forged in fire. It is beaten, shaped, refined. And the mind is the same. If you never push it, if you never test its limits, it will remain weak. But if you train it, if you push beyond hesitation, if you silence the voice of doubt, if you choose action over fear, then you will become unstoppable. A wise man once said, "Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most." Most people choose what they want now. They choose distraction over focus, comfort over challenge, excuses over progress, and then they wonder why they remain stuck. But those who achieve greatness, they choose what they want most. They choose discipline. They choose focus. They choose to act, even when it is hard, even when it is uncertain, even when every part of them wants to turn back. And that is the difference. Not talent, not intelligence, not luck. Discipline. It is the force that separates the strong from the weak, the successful from the unfulfilled, the unstoppable from the hesitant. And you must ask yourself now, what will you choose? Will you continue to allow distractions to control you? Will you allow fear to dictate your actions? Will you keep waiting for the perfect moment, knowing deep down that it will never come? Or will you take control? Because the mind, once disciplined, is the most powerful tool you will ever own. It will allow you to walk through fire without flinching. It will carry you forward when others give up. It will make you unstoppable, but only if you choose to sharpen it. And that choice begins now. Your mind is the architect of your destiny. Every thought you allow, every habit you reinforce, every belief you hold, it all shapes the person you are becoming. But most people do not realize this. They let their minds run wild, like an untrained. But the truth is simple. An undisciplined mind creates an undisciplined life. There was once a man who desperately wanted to change his life. He struggled with focus, lacked confidence, and constantly found himself trapped by fear. He sought out a wise master and asked, "How do I change?" The master handed him a glass of muddy water and said, "Hold this still." The man obeyed. At first the water was clouded, murky, restless. But as he stood still, as he waited, the dirt began to settle. The water became clear. The master smiled. Your mind is the same. If you do not learn to still it, you will never see clearly. This is where most people fail. They fill their minds with distractions, with negativity, with doubt, and then wonder why they cannot focus. They allow every small setback, every passing fear, every external voice to dictate their thoughts, and then wonder why they feel powerless. But a strong mind is not controlled by external forces. A strong mind is still. A strong mind is clear. A strong mind remains steady no matter how chaotic the world around it becomes. You must train yourself to be unshaken, to remain calm under pressure, to hold focus when distractions try to pull you away. Because the storms of life will come. You will be tested. You will face moments of uncertainty, moments of hardship, moments of doubt. And when that time comes, will you remain steady or will you crumble? A warrior does not become strong by avoiding battles. He becomes strong by preparing for them, by training, by sharpening his skills, by disciplining his mind so that when the time comes, he does not hesitate. And you must do the same. Most people wait until they are in the middle of chaos to try and find strength. But that is not when strength is built. Strength is built long before the challenge arrives. It is built in the early mornings when you push yourself to rise before the world does. It is built in the quiet moments when you choose discipline over distraction. It is built in the small decisions that seem insignificant, but over time shape the person you become. A traveler once asked a great teacher, "What is the path to mastery?" The teacher replied, "Repetition, every day, without fail. This is how strength is built, not through grand gestures, not through occasional effort, but through daily, relentless discipline." Most people fail because they seek shortcuts. They want results without effort. They want to be strong without struggle, successful without sacrifice, great without discipline. But there are no shortcuts. Every moment you choose comfort over growth, you delay your progress. Every excuse you make is another chain keeping you from the life you want. A wise man once said, "Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one, because it is in the difficulty, in the resistance, in the struggle that you become unbreakable." Think of the strongest minds throughout history, the warriors, the philosophers, the great leaders. None of them became who they were by choosing the easy path. They faced trials, they endured suffering, they sharpened their minds through pain and persistence, and because of that, they became legends. You must ask yourself, are you choosing the easy path, or are you choosing the path of greatness? Are you allowing weakness to rule you, or are you training yourself to be unstoppable? The world does not reward those who wait for the perfect moment. It rewards those who take action despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, despite the discomfort. A lion does not hesitate before it hunts. A warrior does not hesitate before he fights. And you must not hesitate when the time comes for you to rise. Every moment of hesitation is a moment lost. Every excuse is a step backward. Every distraction is another chain keeping you from your full potential. So what will you choose? Will you continue to be ruled by doubt, by fear, by hesitation? Or will you take control, sharpen your focus, and move with unshakable discipline? Because the truth is, greatness is not given, it is earned. It is forged through the fire of discipline, through the relentless pursuit of excellence, through the refusal to settle for anything less than your full potential. And that journey begins now. A disciplined mind is a rare thing. It is not given at birth. It is not inherited. It is forged through struggle, through repetition, through the daily decision to take control rather than be controlled. Most people never understand this. They believe that strength, focus, and success are things that happen by chance, as if some are simply born with the ability to achieve, while others are destined to remain where they are. But that is a lie, when it would have been easier to quit. And because of that, they became unbreakable. A student once asked a master, "How do I become strong?" The master handed him a bucket and told him to fill it with water. The student dipped it into a river, but as he carried it back, the water leaked through the holes in the bucket. "Fix it," the master said. The student tried patching the holes with his hands, but the water kept slipping through. Frustrated, he finally asked, "What am I doing wrong?" The master replied, "Your mind is like this bucket. You fill it with knowledge, with wisdom, with discipline, but if you do not fix the holes, your distractions, your fears, your self-doubt, everything you gain will be lost." This is why most people fail. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack opportunity, but because they do not discipline their minds. They allow distractions to steal their focus. They let their emotions dictate their actions. They make excuses instead of committing to their growth. A weak mind will always find a reason to stop. A disciplined mind will always find a way forward. A lion does not second-guess itself before it hunts. A storm does not pause before it moves, and those who are truly disciplined do not hesitate before they take action. They understand that every moment of hesitation is a moment wasted. Every excuse is another step backward. Every distraction is another chain pulling them away from their goals. There was once a warrior who trained every day, long before the battle arrived. He sharpened his sword, strengthened his body, prepared his mind. His people laughed at him, saying, "Why do you train when there is no war?" He simply replied, "Because when the battle comes, it will be too late to prepare." This is the mindset of those who rise. They do not wait for life to test them before they build their strength. They prepare in advance so that when the moment comes, they are ready. Most people wait. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect moment to take action. But perfection is an illusion. The world does not pause for you to decide when you are ready. If you wait, you will be waiting forever. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. It is pushing forward when every part of you wants to stop. It is choosing focus over distraction, growth over comfort, strength over weakness. A sculptor does not create a masterpiece in a single strike. He chips away piece by piece, refining, shaping, removing what does not belong. And so it is with your mind, with your discipline, with your life. Every decision you make, every habit you reinforce, every moment you choose focus over distraction. That is another strike of the chisel, another step toward greatness. But make no mistake, this path is not easy. It is not for those who seek comfort. It is not for those who wish for results without effort. It is for those who are willing to endure, to sacrifice, to commit to the relentless pursuit of mastery. Because discipline is not about restriction, it is about freedom. The freedom to move through life without hesitation, the freedom to act with confidence instead of fear, the freedom to create the life you want rather than be controlled by the forces around you. So ask yourself now, what are you still allowing to hold you back? What excuses have you accepted? What distractions have you entertained? And what would happen if you finally decided to take full control? Because the truth is, greatness is not found in moments of inspiration. It is found in the daily, relentless commitment to discipline. And that commitment must begin now. The strongest minds are not those that have never struggled. They are the ones that have been tested, broken, and rebuilt stronger than before. They are the ones who have chosen discipline over comfort, focus over distraction, resilience over weakness. They are the ones who have understood that the true battle is not against the world, but against themselves. Most people do not realize this. They spend their lives blaming external circumstances, believing that their success, their happiness, their growth depend on something outside of them. But the truth is, everything begins within. Your greatest enemy is not the world, not other people, not even your circumstances. It is the part of you that chooses fear over courage, the part of you that chooses comfort over progress, the part of you that hesitates when you should act. A man once asked a great teacher, "How do I conquer the world?" The teacher handed him a mirror and said, "First, conquer yourself." This is where true power lies, not in controlling the world, but in mastering yourself, not in waiting for the perfect moment, but in creating the moment through discipline, through action, through an unshakable commitment to growth. Every choice you make strengthens either your discipline or your weakness. Every time you push forward, you build resilience. Every time you hesitate, you build fear. And over time, these choices define who you are. A river does not stop when it meets a rock. It does not hesitate, does not turn back. It moves forward, shaping the rock, carving a path where there was none. And you must do the same. You must decide that nothing, not doubt, not failure, not fear, will stop you from moving forward. But movement is not enough. You must move with purpose, with clarity, with the discipline to stay the course even when it is difficult, even when it is painful, even when there is no immediate reward. Most people quit when they do not see results. They train their minds for a few days, a few weeks, then give up, expecting transformation overnight. But true mastery is not built in an instant. It is built over time, through relentless effort, through daily discipline, through unwavering commitment. A farmer does not plant a seed and expect a tree the next day. He waters it, nurtures it, protects it from the elements. He understands that growth takes time, but he remains patient, knowing that his efforts will bear fruit. And so it is with your mind. The discipline you build today may not show results tomorrow, but over time it will shape you into someone unrecognizable from who you once were. Someone stronger, someone sharper, someone unstoppable. The greatest mistake you can make is believing that discipline is temporary, that once you reach a certain level of success you can relax, let go, return to comfort. But discipline is not something you do once, it is something you become. A warrior does not train only when there is battle. He sharpens his skills every day, knowing that the moment he stops, he weakens. And you must do the same. You must commit to sharpening your mind, your focus, your discipline, not for a day, not for a week, but for life. Because the moment you stop training, the moment you stop pushing yourself, the moment you let distractions take control, you begin to decline. And the mind, once weakened, is difficult to rebuild. This is why the strongest minds, the most disciplined individuals, never stop. They rise before the world does. They train before the distractions come. They act before fear has a chance to take hold. They move with certainty, knowing that every choice they make is either shaping them into something greater or pulling them back into weakness. So ask yourself now, who do you want to become? Do you want to be someone who hesitates, who waits, who allows distractions and fear to dictate their actions? Or do you want to be someone who moves with purpose, with discipline, with an unstoppable drive to grow? Because that choice is yours. It always has been. And if you choose discipline, if you choose to sharpen your mind, to take full control of your actions, to commit fully to your growth, then there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Not fear, not failure, not doubt. Because a disciplined mind is an unbreakable mind. And once you become unbreakable, you become unstoppable. Your mind is the foundation of your reality. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, and every word you whisper to yourself shapes the world you live in. Yet, most people do not realize the power they possess. They drift through life, unaware that the true battle is not fought outside of them, it is fought within. The greatest obstacles they face are not the circumstances of their lives, but the limitations they have placed upon themselves. There was once a man who traveled far and wide in search of wisdom. He climbed mountains, crossed deserts, and endured hardships, believing that the answers he sought lay somewhere outside of himself. When he finally arrived at the feet of a wise master, he asked, "How do I change my life?" The master poured tea into a cup, filling it to the brim and continuing to pour. The tea spilled over, drenching the table. The man gasped, "It is full, no more can fit." The master smiled, "And so is your mind. If you wish to change your life, you must first empty your cup." This is where transformation begins, not with struggle, not with force, but with unlearning, with questioning the thoughts that have governed your life, with breaking free from the beliefs that have kept you small, because your mind is either your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy, and the difference between the two is not in your circumstances, but in your discipline. Most people allow their minds to run unchecked, like an untamed beast, dragging them in every direction. One moment they are confident, the next they are drowning in doubt. One moment they are focused, the next they are lost in distractions. They wonder why they never reach their goals, why they feel powerless, why they remain stuck in the same cycles year after year. But a trained mind, a disciplined mind, it is sharp, unshakable, and entirely under control.